Did you know that some horse owners refuse to pay stud fees if the foal doesn't survive its first 48 hours? This leads to the horrific act of killing newborn foals simply to avoid expenses. Welcome to the dark side of horse racing, a world where the glitz and glamour of the racetrack often obscures a grim reality. Here, horses are viewed not as majestic creatures deserving of care and respect, but as mere instruments of profit, their worth measured solely in terms of their ability to generate revenue. This commodification of life has given rise to some truly unsettling practices. Consider the newborn foals, their lives just beginning yet already in the balance. If they fail to survive their first 2 days, some owners refuse to pay the stud fees associated with their birth. The result? These innocent creatures are killed, their young lives snuffed out simply to avoid a financial burden. But the disregard for animal welfare extends far beyond these early hours. It permeates the industry, casting a long and ominous shadow over the lives of these magnificent animals. Horses are often pushed to their physical limits and beyond, subjected to rigorous training regimes and punishing races that can result in career-ending injuries, all in the name of entertainment and profit. And then, there's the issue of horse slaughter. Many successful racehorses, once their racing days are over, are brutally slaughtered for human consumption in countries like Japan, France, Italy, and Belgium. This harsh reality starkly contrasts with the image of retired racehorses living out their days in peaceful pastures, a narrative often promoted by the industry. As we delve deeper into the horse racing world, you'll discover that these unsettling truths are just the tip of the iceberg. The dark secrets of this industry go far beyond what many could imagine, revealing a world where profit often trumps compassion. As we delve deeper, you'll discover that this is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the dark secrets of the horse racing industry. Horse racing has an unfortunate association with organized crime, involving activities such as horse doping, race fixing, and illegal betting rings. This might come as a shock to many, but it's a grim reality that lurks beneath the surface of this celebrated sport. The high stakes and massive amounts of money involved in horse racing make it an attractive playground for criminal entities. Let's delve a bit deeper. Horse doping, for instance, is a harmful practice where horses are injected with performance-enhancing drugs, compromising not only the integrity of the race, but also the health of these magnificent creatures. Similarly, race fixing is another sinister activity where the outcome of the race is predetermined, robbing the sport of its unpredictability and excitement. Then, we have the illegal betting rings that exploit the system for financial gain, further marring the reputation of the sport. These illicit activities not only undermine the sport's integrity but also cast a long shadow over the future of horse racing. This unlawful side of horse racing is often hidden from the public eye, but it's a reality that can't be ignored. Successful racehorses are often slaughtered for human consumption in many countries despite their achievements on the track. Let's take a moment here to truly grasp the gravity of this statement. These magnificent creatures, once the pride of their owners and the delight of spectators, are forced into a grim and brutal end. A stark contrast to the glamorous racetracks and the thunderous applause they once commanded, the slaughter process is often inhumane and ruthless. As hard as it is to believe, these horses in their prime are the epitome of strength and speed, gracing us with their athletic prowess. They've spent their lives in the limelight, their every move watched, their every stride admired. As they cross the finish line, their names are etched in history, their victories celebrated. However, once their racing days are over, they are often discarded without a second thought. Their worth, it seems, is only as good as their last race. The process that follows is a brutal one, an end that these noble animals do not deserve. The journey from the race course to the slaughterhouse is a heartbreaking one, a journey filled with fear and pain. The process is not quick, it's not painless, and it's certainly not humane. It's a far cry from the love and admiration these horses once received. Their bodies, once a symbol of strength and speed, are reduced to mere commodities, their meat sold for consumption. The truth is, the glamour and excitement of the racing world mask a dark and disturbing reality. Behind the glitz and the glory, there's a sinister truth we cannot ignore. The horse racing industry, for all its charm and allure, has a grim underside that's often swept under the rug. The grim fate of these once revered animals is a stark contrast to the glamour and excitement of the racing world. It's high time we address this issue, for the sake of these majestic creatures who've given us so much joy and so many unforgettable moments. Let's not forget, they deserve a dignified end just as much as they deserve a dignified life. The industry's dark secrets extend to milk mares whose foals are often killed or sold for their skins and meat. These mares, exploited for their milk, have a story that's as chilling as it is heartbreaking. Tasked with nursing orphaned or rejected foals, these mares themselves give birth to foals who face a grim fate. It's a sinister cycle. A mare gives birth and her foal is taken away, often to be slaughtered for its skin and meat. The mare, in turn, is used to nurse another's offspring, her own having been cruelly taken from her. This practice is not an anomaly, but a routine part of the industry, tucked away from the public eye. The horse racing industry, in its relentless pursuit of profit, disregards the emotional bond between a mare and her foal. The separation inflicts severe psychological stress on the mares, who are sentient beings capable of experiencing emotions akin to humans. The plight of these innocent creatures is a heartbreaking testament to the industry's disregard for animal welfare. The use of riding crops or whips in horse racing has faced public backlash, as it causes physical and psychological distress to the animals. This statement opens the door to a contentious topic that stirs passion in both equine aficionados and animal rights advocates. Riding crops, also known as whips, are tools used by jockeys in horse racing. They are meant to encourage the horses to run faster, to correct their direction, or to maintain control. However, the debate arises when we delve into the question of whether the use of these tools is a necessity or a form of abuse. Critics argue that the use of riding crops is a cruel practice that inflicts unnecessary pain and stress on the animals. They contend that the horses are already pushing their limits in the race, and the addition of physical pain is both inhumane and counterproductive. Furthermore, they point out that repeated use of the crop can lead to both visible injuries, such as welts and cuts, and invisible psychological distress. On the other hand, defenders of the practice maintain that riding crops are an essential part of horse racing. They claim that the crops are used not to inflict pain but to signal the horse. They assert that the sound of the crop, rather than the impact, motivates the horse to run faster. They also point out that modern riding crops are designed to minimize harm, with padded ends to reduce the risk of injury. Yet, even with these assertions, the controversy persists, fueled by incidents of visible horse distress and public outcry. Numerous horse racing jurisdictions across the globe have begun to impose restrictions on the use of riding crops, with some even considering a complete ban. This controversial practice brings into question the ethics of horse racing and the industry's commitment to animal welfare. It compels us to reflect on the balance between competitive sport and respect for the creatures that make this sport possible. The debate on riding crops is far from settled, and it continues to challenge the norms of horse racing, pushing for reform in the name of equine welfare. The thoroughbred gene pool has become limited, leading to weaker and more injury-prone horses. This dark secret of the horse racing industry is a chilling reality that's been casting a long shadow over the sport. The practice of breeding within a limited gene pool to achieve maximum speed has led to a significant compromise in the overall health and longevity of these majestic creatures. This issue of inbreeding is not just a matter of ethics, but a ticking time bomb that threatens the very existence of the sport. As the quest for speed intensifies, so does the frequency of unsound traits being passed on to offspring. The result? Horses that are more susceptible to injuries, often leading to premature retirement, or worse, death. The industry's focus on speed over health is a dark secret that has serious implications for the future of horse racing. It's a clandestine race against time, where the finish line might just be the end of the thoroughbred as we know it. Young racehorses are subjected to rigorous training and racing at an early age, often leading to career-ending injuries. Imagine being barely out of infancy, yet forced into a world of relentless drills and high-speed racing. This is the reality for many young racehorses, their tender bodies and minds pushed to the limit in pursuit of a fleeting moment of glory. These foals, barely weaned, are thrust into a grueling schedule of training and conditioning. The objective? To transform these young steeds into lean, mean racing machines. But at what cost? Their growing bodies are often not equipped to handle the strain, leading to injuries that can abruptly end their racing careers, or worse, their lives. The quest for speed and performance overshadows the crucial need for proper development and care. The result? a life of chronic pain and stress for these majestic creatures. The pressure to perform and the disregard for their welfare is a dark secret that many in the industry would prefer to keep hidden.